Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. It's my first visit to Bogota, dealing with the altitude and the jet lag. But it's a real honor to be here with you today to open the UNEP Regional Roundtable for Latin America and the Caribbean, which is taking place for the first time since 2019, since before the pandemic. So we're really excited to be here in Bogota. Look forward to two exciting days discussing how we advance the sustainable finance agenda in the region and achieve ambitious societal and community goals through the finance industry. Now, the Latin American Caribbean region is at the forefront of economic development and growth. And with this growth comes great responsibility. We must address head-on the increasing environmental and social challenges we face, particularly in the context of climate change and increasing biodiversity loss. Now, Colombia is recognized today, not only in the region, but I would say around the world. We have a lot of discussions around what is happening in Colombia. In Geneva, where we're headquartered, it's a country that's worked hard to overcome a multitude of challenges and committed to balancing growth with environmental, climate, and sustainability objectives. Colombian institutions, including the financial sector, have led the path to sustainability through inspiring initiatives such as the Green Protocol back in 2010, that we were very happy to be helped establish with the Banking Association, and more recently by developing a local green bond market and the green taxonomy. Colombia is the first country in the Western Hemisphere to adopt such a framework. I was recently in Ottawa, I'm Canadian, trying to discuss there the need for a taxonomy in Canada, and I point to the countries who are out in front, including Colombia. It's also the country in Colombia that has embedded ESG considerations into the guidelines for the financial sector and for infrastructure projects. So we're proud, with good reasons, to have chosen Colombia for the Regional Roundtable for Latin America and Caribbean this year. Now, Latin America, I don't need to tell you, it's one of the most biodiverse regions in the world. According to UNEP, which is our mother agency, around 60% of global terrestrial life and diverse freshwater and marine species can be found in the region, including particularly, of course, in the Amazon rainforest. However, according to the WWF, Latin America has lost 94% of its terrestrial and aquatic life in the last 50 years, whilst 54% of all deforestation globally comes from the region. At the same time, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, confirms that this region is highly exposed, vulnerable, and strongly impacted by climate change. And the increase in extreme weather events has led to destructive consequences. Climate change has severely affected energy, water, and food systems in the region, triggering disruption in human activities, deepening inequalities, and fueling migration. We're living through climate and biodiversity breakdown, and these are not separate from each other, but are two sides of the same coin. And we just need to, as I was shown earlier, look out the window to see the forest fires and the impact that it can have on our environment, but also on our society and our economy. Clearly, there can't be environmental action without also considering its impact on society. And despite decades of progress, the region remains the second most unequal in the world. The transitions we're discussing need, therefore, to help develop more sustainable economies, which also means supporting workers and households, leaving no one behind. Now, to tackle these crises, we need a paradigm shift in our economic, social, and leadership practices. First and foremost, we must understand and remember that sustainable finance is about aligning financial flows, financial portfolios, with environmental, societal, and economic goals. And the LAC region has an incredible opportunity to lead the way here. The region's economic growth trajectory positions it as a critical player in shaping the global financial landscape. And by embracing sustainable finance, setting ambitious precedents through our actions, and leading the way, we can create a ripple effect, inspiring others to follow suit. Now, the next 2 years are important for the region. This year, Colombia will host the Convention on Biological Diversity, the CBD, COP16. And I should point out, last year in Montreal was when the Global Biodiversity Framework, which is essentially the Paris Moment for Nature, was agreed, the Montreal Kunming Global Biodiversity Framework. And one of the very important aspects of that meeting last year was there was a full day dedicated to finance, and the finance industry really showed up in force. And we hope to see that once again this year at COP16. The finance sector shows that you are working towards being part of the solution of driving change. Also next year, Brazil will host the Climate COP30, and Costa Rica will host the third UN Open Oceans Conference. And of course, I skipped over, Brazil is hosting the G20 presidency this year. So these issues are being addressed at the highest level in a very busy way in these years. And financial institutions have a pivotal role to play and must, I think, capitalize on these opportunities. There's a whole ecosystem of net zero, social and biodiversity commitments, targets, and actions from the financial sector, which is blossoming. But we need to crucially ensure that the integrity of financial sector actions remains sound. As UNEP FI, we are mandated to support the UN agenda, facilitate actions to support the Paris Climate Agreement, and the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And through initiatives like the Principles for Responsible Banking, the Principles for Sustainable Insurance, and the Net Zero Finance Alliances. In Latin America and the Caribbean, we have seen great progress in recent years. Today we have 80 UNEP FI members and 40 supporting institutions across 16 countries in the region. 54 banks are signatories to the UN Principles for Responsible Banking. 16 of these are also members of the Climate Accelerator, the Net Zero Banking Alliance. 17 insurers are also signatories to the Principles for Sustainable Insurance. And we're working together with our colleagues at GFANS, which is the Glasgow Financial Alliance for Net Zero, on a climate mitigation journey. So helping initially the banking sector to really understand all the steps they need to take and all the support that's out there to help them. So we look forward to these movements growing and for the financial community and relevant stakeholders working together to deliver on these sustainability goals. Now, whilst countries in the region have been making significant progress, they still face several challenges, including, we know, building the institutional capacities and creating the supporting enabling environments. Several countries in the region have already made climate emission reduction commitments of between 24 and 29% by 2030. So basically bringing down emissions by between a quarter and close to a third in basically one business cycle, so in a very short time. We also have regulators stepping up, and we're pleased to see 17 financial regulators in the region are members of the Central Banks and Supervisors Network for Greening the Financial System, the NGFS. To achieve our ambitions, collaboration and innovation are paramount. One crucial aspect of collaboration is the development of green finance, common frameworks, and standards. And we have been seeing progress here with work on new policies and taxonomies underway in Costa Rica, in Panama, in Brazil, in the Dominican Republic, in Uruguay, and Chile. Now, robust frameworks help ensure transparency, accountability, and credibility in sustainable finance initiatives. By influencing and adopting common definitions and reporting standards on a regional and international level, we can promote consistency and comparability, allowing investors and stakeholders to be making truly informed decisions. Public-private partnerships are also an essential for mobilizing the necessary capital and expertise. Governments can play a crucial role in creating an enabled policy environment that incentivizes sustainable investments while removing barriers and providing fiscal support. Collaborations between the public and private sectors can unlock new opportunities, accelerate innovation, and scale up sustainable finance markets. Now, while the journey towards advancing sustainable finance and achieving our net zero goals may seem daunting, the opportunities it presents are immense. By transitioning to a sustainable financial system, we can create new jobs, stimulate economic growth, enhance resilience to climate risks, and contribute to a healthier planet for future generations. In conclusion, let us recognize the urgency of the moment and seize the opportunity to advance sustainable finance across the Latin American Caribbean region. Together, let us build a sustainable and inclusive financial ecosystem that leaves a lasting legacy for generations to come. We look forward to an excellent event over the next 2 days and rich discussions on how banks and insurers can address climate change, financial inclusion, biodiversity risks, promote circular economies, and protect the most vulnerable. We also look forward to the launch of the Bogota Declaration on Sustainable Insurance, as well as the report on ensuring the climate transition in Brazil in partnership with CNSEG and ERM. I'd also like to thank our gold sponsors, LA Green, Eco Business Fund, Vivienda, Seguros Bolivar, IBB Invest, Grupo Val, and our silver sponsor, Sura. I would also like to thank our partners, Azobancaria, Climate Action, Casa Colda, Febraban, GFANS, and the Mesa de Finanzas Sustainable for their support. Just a final note, as an interesting example of the important role that Colombia is globally playing on sustainable finance, within our governance bodies, our global steering committee, we have 13 seats. There's only one country who actually has 2 seats today, and that's Colombia. We're very pleased to have Franco Pisa from Bancolombia and Alejandra Diaz from Vivienda, who have both joined the committee starting in 2024. With that, I wish you all an excellent event and looking forward to the discussions going forward. Thank you.